I wonder what we're going to talk about today.
No idea, but we are back, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, and I'm not shy to represent my Breakpoint hoodie. Still proud of it. still had a great time.
I mean, yeah.
We need to go through this and unpick what came out in recent events. BlockFi, FTX, Gensler apparently colluding with SBF. We need to also go through the fact that some people are managing to withdraw by, don't quote me on this, but what looks like someone's getting paid to change KYC authentication to Bahamas location so people can withdraw. So there's a lot to unpick. I've got a couple of news articles and a couple of tweets and things like that. But I suppose first of all, how's everyone doing?
Not great. I've been pretty unscathed from what's happened, but just watching community members, friends, it's getting me down, and I'm really sorry that everyone's struggling at the moment. That's my take on it at the moment.
I just feel blessed that I'm in an okay position. Like, I stabled up a long time ago and I didn't really do much like trading or gambling or anything, and major copium on the way up, and to see it all come crashing down now, when like deep down in my soul I kind of felt something, the markets was going to crash. Like, it's not nice to see, basically. Like, it's not cool, man. And the fact that this has destroyed even more lives, and the knock-on effect of this, not just from our small little community of 12, but like the great repercussions that something like this has on actual real-life markets. So things like semiconductors, things like advertising revenue. So the knock-on effect of what this like idiot's done, and this little nerd has done, nerd and the gangster, will have repercussions like throughout the markets. It's bigger than any of us realize right now.
Yeah, I feel like the past 2 days has been so frantic. It felt like we're in the middle of complete chaos, and now it's like the hangover's beginning to set in. I wasn't exposed to anything, but it's just shit seeing friends and people who you speak to day in, day out, just like obviously really struggling. And not to kind of quote like a Batman film, but it's like it is the hope that kind of kills them as well. Like, not knowing if they came out and just said, fine, well, there's no funds to be getting back. Like, at least you could begin like the grievance process to get over that, and you knew there was a definite answer, and you knew. But like, there's this and ahhing about the raise, like what they're going to do there, if someone's going to come in and back it or whatever, and then I think that bit of hopium in the back of your mind is just going to be an extra added blow if it doesn't get pulled off. I really, really, really hope it does. But we'll have to see. So, this is the first spread of contagion, BlockFi. What do you think?
I think silence is away.
Yeah. Well, I was looking earlier at obviously this came out from BlockFi earlier this morning. It said, we are shocked and dismayed by the news regarding FTX and Alameda. We like the rest of the world found out the situation through Twitter, which is never a fucking good thing. Given the lack of clarity on the status of FTX US and Alameda, we're not able to operate business as usual. Our priority has been and will continue to be to protect our clients and their interests. So again, what we've been harking on about yesterday on Spaces and the day before when we had like the emergency stream and stuff like that, it's all the stuff that goes on in the shadows that completely destroys the industry again. And it's a pain in the ass, because you know where the hammer's going to come down. It's not going to be on the centralized interests. They're going to go after the people who are trying to innovate and steer the conversation forward and steer the kind of industry and technology forward. And it's just, you just can see it a mile off. But yeah, this is interesting. I did pull up and do a little bit of research around this. Look at me being organized. So this was their Q2 report. So BlockFi had 1.8 billion in outstanding loans in Q2. And if you, obviously we're in November now, and I couldn't find the Q3 report, which is quite telling in and of itself. But in this article, it says of the outstanding loans to borrowers, valued at 1.8 billion, the firm reported that 600 million are uncollateralized. Institutional loans accounted for 1.5 billion of the total outstanding loans, while retail loans made up the remaining 300 million. So, and that was pricing Bitcoin at 19,986.
I mean, clearly this is part of the problem, and I think that one of the, Grant, you're a lot better at this than I am in terms of, the mechanisms around, the borrowing and lending. But it seems like those mechanisms are broken. When these guys set up a retail style borrowing and lending platform, because that's what BlockFi is. It's very retail orientated, off chain, trying to emulate the same principles that DeFi does, on a smart contract basis. But clearly, these guys can't even add 2 + 2. I mean, in light of, the videos that have been coming out around Caroline, in an interview and her mathematical prowess, what I'm seeing is just a bunch of idiots trying to run the equivalent of what smart contracts do in the DeFi landscape. And now that there's a shortfall, and clearly these guys have done exactly the same that Alameda and FTX have done, irrespective of their relationship with FTX and Alameda. From my perspective, and granted, I am an idiot, but it seems like these guys have just completely mismanaged these funds. They've been borrowing off the back of retail investors and their deposits, and there was a $1.8 billion fucking shortfall here. I mean, how can you not be pissed off with this kind of stuff? I mean, it's an outrage.
Yeah, so just looking through BlockFi, pretty similar product to Celsius by the look of it. Backed by Morgan Creek, Coinbase Ventures, Winklevoss Capital, Susquehanna, Galaxy Digital, and Vala. So again, it's just because there's such like a circle jerk that happens in this full industry. Yeah. And one of the main issues is like completely vulturistic VC groups and interest in the industry. The same cap table comes up time and time and time again. So when something big does happen, it's the same kind of people that are getting dragged down every single time. So I don't know, across all these venture capital firms that are supposed to be like smartest fucking people since whoever, it's like, where's the due diligence? Like, do they not have a risk team? Like, not risk management team? Do they not like look at the 1.8 billion hole that BlockFi was effectively reporting in its Q2 transparency report and start thinking, well, that's not good? Is that why there wasn't a Q3 report? I don't know. It just seems like, again, the fucking idiots have run the show and it just landed us in this position once more. So God knows who's affected by BlockFi, but I assume, again, it's going to be institutions all tangled up in this stupid web. And then also probably it said in that Q2 report, 300 million of retail users. So yeah, same shit, different day.
I know I'm quite quiet, but I'm generally speechless because it's kind of like unfathomable, whatever. You know the word. Is that yeah? It's that word, right?
Yeah, it's that word. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that word. You all know what I'm trying to say. It's bonkers, mate. I use bonkers instead. It's proper bonkers.
Grant, bring up that list of investors, because I think that's very telling in terms of what we can expect, and it's something that we've communicated. Just scroll up a little bit. There it is.
Yeah.
If you look at this list of investors, right? Like we're also hearing that Gemini's in trouble. Gemini's possibly in trouble. So now you've got the biggest lobs in crypto. In the history of crypto, there are no bigger lobs than the Winklevoss twins. The truth is going to come out about those dudes, and I think it's going to come out sooner probably than anyone else that we're going to hear about. Then you've got, I mean, I don't know whether Paradigm will be a problem. I think they should be fine. But we'll find out. Jump's been very quiet, and I'm sure you guys have seen the tweets. Jump Capital has been way too quiet. Way, way, way too quiet. And there's a concern because Jump Capital has got a huge stake in Solana in terms of the ecosystem. I mean, they've got a huge stake in crypto, but they've got a monster stake in Solana. A lot of questions have been asked. We asked that on Spaces yesterday. What's the story with Solana? How is Solana going to do? In terms of what we saw in Portugal, Solana is a thriving ecosystem. There's a lot of building going on. It's huge. I mean, really, it will take something extraordinarily monstrous to take down Solana as an ecosystem. That monstrous thing could, if Solana is going to go down, I predict that it will be through someone like Jump Capital. I hope I'm wrong. I'm just kind of looking at the different scenarios. I don't think this is going to happen. I'm definitely not saying that. But if it is going to go down, it's going to go down because of Jump Capital. And I hope it doesn't happen.
How would Jump Capital go down? Jump Capital. How would like something like Solana go down?
Well, we don't know what the fundamentals around, like the projects, who's kind of bankrolling projects, the infrastructure of it. I mean, we know that Rockaway X have got a huge stake in the infrastructure of Solana, so I'm not concerned about them. But I think it's more around the funding on projects and what's holding up projects, and also treasuries. People are relying on treasuries right now to be able to fund their projects to a certain degree. So that's my concern around Solana and Jump.
So, right, I don't know how much of this is true, so just don't hold me against this. But I'm just relaying information that's kind of coming out. So, State Layer from one of the guys at SudoSwap posted saying lots of sizable withdrawals happening in the last hours. This is USDT. People clearly abusing the Bahamas loophole. Plug it into Etherscan and have a check for yourself. It's non-stop. Etherscan shadow banning, so no links, which is not good.
If there's no liquidity there, how are they actually able to pay out that money? Is the liquidity there? They're just holding it back.
Yeah, and then there's certain people that I'm not going to go into that look like they've managed to get funds out by changing their KYC destination to the Bahamas. So fuck knows what's going on. But again, it's just another case of an industry that prides itself on being democratic and being open, and everyone has a chance. And then it's probably, judging by the withdrawal sizes, it's the ones in the know that are coming out on top, while the little guy has to wait around for months on end to see if he's going to get a couple of cents on his dollar. It's just pathetic.
If you wanted one of Jump's wallets, it's in our Discord chat.
Two seconds.
So what was really interesting that came out this morning for me? I mean, it's quite a trivial thing, but it's also a little bit of an alarm bell. Is that I've got a couple of my mates in South Africa who have BlockFi accounts, who did the retail / normie aspect of borrowing their Bitcoin out and all the rest of it. And one of the long-standing policies with BlockFi is that if you do any kind of transfer, whether it's to a fiat bank account, or even if you do a transfer on chain, you have to wait 2 business days. I mean, how convenient is that for BlockFi to actually restrict an ERC20 or a TRC20 transaction on chain to 2 days? when that transaction takes literally seconds and maybe worst case scenario minutes, but they insist that it's 2 days. For me, that's a red flag. For me, that is an alarm bell that essentially would take me off that platform immediately. If I can't transfer my money on chain immediately, I'm out. So, these guys are transferring their money out this morning and they're like, it's 2 days wait. And I'm like, dude, you'll be lucky if you see your money. These guys have already filed for bankruptcy. They haven't filed for bankruptcy, but they've sought advice from bankruptcy consultants. That's the BlockFi word, yeah.
There's still just a lot going on behind the scenes. I've got some like wallet trackers that, track a lot of like the exchanges or whatever, and they're just like, they are just slamming money around. Like it's just going absolutely everywhere. So you got like FTX's wallets, you got Binance wallets, you got early unlock wallets, you got even 3AC, one of 3AC's wallets is doing some stuff. It's insane. These guys are just going crazy.
So what's the total balance on that jump wallets, Grant? 5.14. Yeah.
No, it's why doesn't it just show you
the total? Yeah, where's the total? Just go to the source, I suppose. Yeah.
And in the chat as well, I put in winter muting 3AC.
So, look what Etherscan's telling us. So this is the 181 million in that one.
Okay.
But they're moving shit by the looks of it.
They're moving. Look at that on the hour, 41 minutes. I mean, it's crazy what they're doing here. There's definitely something up with Jump. I've seen enough.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm worried. That's all.
And if I was just a little bit digging them, but if you click onto some of those other wallets, they lead to other like big holding wallets as well. Some that are just like fully. So that first one that we were on.
On Etherscan.
On Etherscan, yeah. If you just follow the money, there's a couple of like 600 ETH transactions that just keeps moving around. So if you scroll down, so there's that 641 Ether one as well. They're just all these institutes are moving money off and away, and selling stuff and taking things off the exchange. So they've just taken stuff off Gemini, taking it off Binance. They're throwing money around. Goes into Jump.
They're essentially getting their money off exchanges.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing here. Are they on ramping on any exchanges to sell, or is it all just leaving exchanges?
I think it's all leaving for now. Man, I'm sure they got a guy down the street that will switch them up some crypto for real life money as well.
What, at like 65 cents to the dollar?
Yeah, man. It is crazy. It's fascinating. Like, honestly, it's fascinating because my alerts always go off, and like just seeing what's actually happening behind the scenes and like the vast sums of money, like the amount of like $500 million transactions that keep going through. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
What are you seeing, Grant? What's your take on this?
The extremely erratic moves, which should have been probably done a couple of days back.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but they obviously know better than us. Again, information asymmetry is a fucking joke in an industry that touts itself as the most transparent. We're just a complete laughing stock at the minute.
So let's actually talk about what is the solution to this whole thing. What is the solution here? DeFi, right?
Chainlink proof of funds. The technology's there, available to do that. Proof of reserves for all exchanges. I don't know. There should have to be.
Sorry.
There should have to be publicly. I don't know. I give up. I honestly give up with it all.
I mean, I think DeFi has its problems. We know that. It's like there's still a long way to go with DeFi. But the one thing that we don't have to worry about with DeFi is transparency. It's there. You can see what's going on. And right now, the majority of the problems, if not all of the problems that we're experiencing right now, are purely because of the black box. Like Gunny did a talk on what they were doing in terms of, on-chain perpetuals. And he spoke about what was really interesting about his talk is that the majority of his talk wasn't actually about the protocol that they're building. It was the fact that every financial disaster that has ever happened in the history of humanity has been because of a black box where dudes were doing stuff that nobody knew that they were doing, and then they fucked the system. Once again, we've got dudes doing the shit that they shouldn't be doing in a black box to fuck the system. That's what they're doing. They're always in a fucking black box doing all this dodgy shit. But they can't do this on chain. We can see what Jump are doing right now. We can see what these motherfuckers are doing. We can see them by the second what they're doing.
What did you make of this? So
yeah, it's fascinating.
In a tweet from November the 10th, Emma criticised Gensler for running to the media amid FTX liquidity issues, causing ripples throughout the crypto markets. According to the Republican lawmaker, his team was looking into the SEC chair's alleged collaborations with Bankman-Fried and FTX, but only cited reports presented to his office as evidence without providing details. And the tweet said, "Interesting, Gary Gensler runs to the media while reports to my office allege that he was helping SBF and FTX work on legal loopholes to obtain regulatory monopoly. We're looking into this."
Imagine if they find a freaking burning dumpster at the end of that freaking path. Imagine they actually find the evidence.
I've seen someone say Sam wasn't actually a vegetarian, but he was a plant. Could well be. He just came out of nowhere. Is like one of his parents in Congress or something? It's again, it's all a little too sus. And obviously, it doesn't help that no one's fucking coming out, and you get a tweet out of Sam 3 days later after the fact. Like, so no one has a fucking clue what's going on. And the longer you leave it without communications and like looking after all the PR and comms and stuff like that, you just allow people to spin up and get into the head what's actually happening. And usually they go for like the stupidest idea possible. So I don't know. It's a strange one that though for him to come out. He's this Tom Emma, recently re-elected Republican lawmaker representing Minnesota's 6th district in the U.S. House of Representatives. So like he's not nobody.
So is Gary Gensler a Democrat? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to it all, to be honest.
I mean, SBF has been funding Democrats, and Biden. So, there is a connection.
Yeah. Yeah, Democrat.
So there we go. I mean, surely there's got to be, where there's smoke, there's generally fire. And in this case, it's a dumpster that's smoldering.
Yeah. I don't know. That'd be fucking wild to come out. The only thing I'm looking forward to after all of this is the Michael Lewis book that hopefully gets adopted by Adam McKay again, because this has been one for the ages. This has been absolute carnage. That'll make such a good Big Short 2 sequel. So much to unpick though. The big rug, yeah. The big cucumber.
Maybe the aubergine.
Right, this is interesting as well. Reports Tether freezes 46 billion of FTX USDT, setting new precedent. So Tether been requested by lawmakers to freeze USDT held in private wallets when requested by lawmakers. I don't know if that's come from the US or if that's come from Bahamas, but it looks like it's
Wasn't
US
there a
Department of
notice?
Justice.
Wasn't there a notice from the equivalent of the Department of Justice in the Bahamas with regards to seizing assets that belong to FTX? Did you see that? Was that a real document or was that fake?
I didn't see it. What was it saying?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
basically the Bahamas essentially
Is
seizing FTX's assets and freezing accounts and all that kind of stuff. It looked official. It looked legit. That's why I'm just checking in. Maybe it came from that.
Wait.
Maybe there's a connection there.
even their real estate portfolio and all that kind of jazz.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I never followed up around that. It's just been so much.
They had like 8-9 figures worth of real estate in the Bahamas, according to that document I seen. So
yeah, so I mean,
they just don't getting full of like. They must be. They must be
where they're going to go. So I read another. Sorry, man.
Full of amphetamines and
yeah,
they've all just been taking like a load of Adderall and just having a huge orgies while gambling other people's funds. Because it came out that there was like I can't remember the article. Let me try and bring it up, but there was very blurred lines between personal relationships and working relationships and all that.
Oh, mate, don't tell me Sam was banging Caroline, mate. That's gross.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that came out in it. But like apparently everyone was just getting passed around to everyone over like a select period of time, according to the article. It was someone who worked there and just came on the record anonymous. So mental.
I don't really read too much into that. I think for us, well, for me anyways, yeah, I mean, for me, it's like you've got a $10 billion hole and clearly you had no idea what you're doing, despite the fact that you were dumping on everyone for a whole year. That's what I can't come to terms with. I just can't get over it, bro. Like, I just can't get over how they completely dominated the market on face value, and they still managed to do this.
Yeah, but this happens in TradFi all the time, though. So, like, I don't know why everyone's so shocked.
It doesn't matter because it's such a small industry. That's why, Dan. I think that's what it is. You know, you're looking at a $100 trillion industry versus a $2 trillion industry. It's a big difference. Or $300 trillion industry.
But it's just a law of averages, isn't it? Which is hence why risk management is so important, because at one point you're going to get fucked regardless, and it doesn't matter what trade you're in, you're going to get fucked. So if you're not exercising proper risk management, obviously like these guys weren't, God knows how overexposed they were to Luna, because that's what
started it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
So we're at 912 billion market cap, up 4.2%.
So can someone please explain to me why the market is pumping right now?
No. People revenge trading, probably. Thin liquidity books.
It's probably the best reason I've heard.
Yeah.
It's like the post I made on Twitter. They're hunting your liquidity. Exchanges need money right now. You got us idiots that are still using leverage. So there's only two ways you're going to get somebody's leverage trade. You either liquidate them or you hunt their stop loss. That's why you've got such wild swings. And like if you've got more than like $20 as a market maker, you're going to be able to like just move the charts in such a way that it just hunts it. I mean, if you look at things like the Bookmap or even a high block, you can see where liquidity is sitting. And if there's like 2 billion of liquidity in, shorts, if there's 2 billion of liquidity slightly higher up the chart, then they're going to go and grab it. Like, dude, that's a 2 billion payday in a wick. That's why there's such violent moves. It really is simple to see. That's why it pumps. That's why it dumps. Market makers move it. Simple.
Isn't that why Alameda was supposed to be so profitable?
Yeah. Do you remember?
It's not.
Do you remember that time when Sam did that video and he was like, "Oh, you know, I'm going to give like I know 100 million or 10 million to like philanthropic cases and causes." I'm like, bro, we just had like a crash the day before. You clearly just liquidated people for like $1 billion, and they're going to go give people's money that you've just stolen from them, and then just like give that away. So then you look like you've got some kudos and brownie points. Like, mate, fuck off. You've just literally pulled out the biggest rug in front of people to then give it to charity. Now, it's great you're giving it to charity, but like I would want to be the person in control. Or like if you want to do crypto, have a DAO and you choose the money where the money goes. But mate, it's just a fucking scam. Like, get out of it, bro.
Yeah, the open interest on the Bitcoin USDT pair alone on Binance is 2.15 billion.
There we go.
So
it's going to get taken today.
1.33 billion for the ETH USDT pair. There's still fucking 591 million ETH USD open interest on FTX. I don't know if that's people trap positions or what. I don't know what the hell's going on there. And that's skewed short whilst everyone else is net long.
What's the TRX position? Can we see that? Will it register that here, or is it TRX here?
Yeah, so yeah, very heavily skewed, like 60% short, funding rate of 0.189, which is fucking ridiculous, really.
Check the funding on Solana to blow your hair back.
Where are we at? So, yeah, DYDX have closed. That's interesting. DYDX have practically pulled a Robin Hood and said you can only close positions, hence the 100% short there, because you can't actually open a long position against that, which is not great in my opinion. But funding's definitely skewing long on Sol. But I don't know if people are just arbing for funding rate at this point. I don't know. I have absolutely no. This is like complete and utter chaos.
See, that would scream to me there's going to be a long squeeze then today. If everyone's gone long.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite high, the funding for Sol as well. So we're looking at 51, 52, 54% skewed long. I don't know. What else would be destroyed?
What's the story with FTT itself? Let's just take a look there. Just out of interest, of course. FTT is doing exactly what Luna did. Have you guys noticed that? It's doing exactly the same thing. It's almost like a rerun of what we saw several months ago in terms of price action, in terms of like those huge moves, like the volatility. And I have no doubt that it will be in the decimals quite soon, like 0.000 very soon. I mean, at the moment, the only thing that's holding it together is the speculatory aspect of it, right? Anything beyond that, it's just a matter of time before it goes to zero.
Yeah. Crazy that they just effectively use that. A token that gives you discount on trading fees to back like every bit of liquidity on the market. It's absolutely baffles me.
Mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. When do you think they realized that they could do that? Do you think that was the plan from the beginning? Or was it like, like part of the plan? Like, did they sit around a table and like, or were they sitting on beanbags and like, okay, well, we're going to do this. We're going to actually use our token as a basis for collateral, and we're just going to create money out of thin air.
Well, it was a bit strange. I'm pretty sure we spoke about this before. It was like the money they were raising, like was that in equity? Was that in tokens? I don't know how transparent that was, judging by the fucking operation that these guys have pulled off the past couple of weeks. I can't imagine that's too transparent. But effectively, they were just printing money out of thin air.
Do you reckon CZ was clearly not aware of this in terms of what played out at the beginning of the week, and he realized, hold on a second, like I've just got wind of the situation that these guys have been using this token that I own half a bill's worth? Or do you think he's known for a while and waited until he had half a bill left? Because he had 2.4 at one point.
I think that's been in his back pocket for a long time, but I think what's happened in Congress recently they've been back and forth taking digs at each other, but I think he's just effectively licked his hand and fucking backhanded him across the face effectively.
Totally. But just think about it. During the middle of the bull last year, he was selling. Remember, there was just all that selling that was going on with FTT. FTT was at $75. It was like really cooking, and then they stepped in, and everyone was like, CZ selling. CZ needs to offload, and everyone was like, wonder why he's selling. And I'm thinking, did they know back then the extent of what was going on? And because they had such huge exposure that they just said, listen, let's just put our heads down, let's get rid of this thing, get our money out. Or do you think it's something they discovered recently?
I just think that their holdings in FTT have just been like a massive trump card for so long, but I don't think there's probably been several stages of how much CZ and Binance realized FTX were fucked. It was probably one when they started to notice how effectively over levered they were and taking out using FTT as collateral. And that's probably what spurred the whole this could be another Luna tweet, which was very kind of carefully worded and carefully crafted tweet, that one.
That was genius. Yeah.
What Matt said yesterday was on the Spaces was quite interesting as well, is if they show like a letter of intent to acquire them, even if they do pull through, they've just kind of seen how the FTX sausage is made effectively from start to finish.
Yes. Yep.
That was an interesting point.
That was also genius.
Yeah. Like this guy's playing 3D chess and Sam's playing fucking League of Legends. Quite literally.
So you know what another telltale sign in this whole thing is, like another clue to pick up off of, is when Luna went down, Sam stepped in as the white knight to save a whole load of companies. Do you remember that whole thing? Do you remember which companies those were that he stepped in to save? Because they were effectively FTT holders, collateralized to the max off the back of FTT, and he stepped in to save them in inverted commas. Those guys.
Didn't he get Celsius?
He did try and help Celsius out, didn't he? That was one of them. But there were others. There were smaller ones that he stepped in to help. We need to actually go back and just check who they were, because they are now also, they will undoubtedly go down unless they have sound business principles and someone can step in and basically take them over and buy them out or assist them from a buyout perspective. But they will be next.
Did they take over Voyager?
So Voyager's been a concern, and I think they were part of that whole thing, yes. That whole bailout process. Yeah.
That was September 26th. Voyager Digital said Monday crypto exchange FTX's proposal the bankrupt lender had rejected earlier this year has won its assets in a 1.42 billion bid at an auction. So where the fuck have they got? Where have they got 1.42 billion from to purchase these assets?
Yeah,
so I can't imagine someone who's running an auction to settle a bankruptcy claim is going to accept FTT in return for that.
So here's a little snippet. Voyager digital investors were handed a lifeline at the end of September after the cryptocurrency exchange FTX, which is powered by the native FTX token, won a bid to buy the bankrupt lender's assets. So there we go. I mean, Voyager's next. There's no doubt. There's no ways they're going to come out of this thing unscathed, unless, of course, they can come up with some kind of a compelling sales pitch to get someone to step in and take their assets.
No, but Voyager are already gone because of Luna.
But didn't he
That's
step
why
in
they're
and
buying
help
their
them out?
assets. Yeah, just to
Yeah.
buy their assets. He offered to
okay.
buy.
Okay.
Wow.
So I don't know. A lot to unpick. I'll be happy when someone writes like a full long form journalistic report on this whole thing. With actually some
you do
journalistic
realize that
integrity.
you'd be the perfect person to do that, Grant. Just saying.
I was thinking about doing it, but I know it'll take like a month to write. Like literally will take a full month if I go into the detail that I'd like to. And it's nearly Christmas. I'm taking some time off. I'm doing that.
Well, I guess
to.
in other news, old boy Deepak is selling his NFT collection, and he has the largest, most valuable NFT collection of them all. From punks to apes to other deeds. Crazy.
Do you have a link to that?
Yeah, I'll just post in the chat now. So he posted on his Twitter. He's got, mate, I'll tell you what, he's got a banging collection as well.
As a
Yeah. I'll put it in the stream.
how many people that are prominent in the space do you think we lose on a percentage basis because of this? Like gone, never to return.
I'd say between 60 and 80%. And this is like we're talking. I think there's a lot of big traders, Grant. There's a lot of prominently big traders on crypto Twitter and even outside of crypto Twitter that had absolute faith in FTX. We talking like beyond even like 100-year-old bank like trust. You know, there's people out there that trust their banks. I think there's people that had literally millions of dollars in their FTX accounts, and they would never have questioned the safety of that money. We know these people. I know at least 10 people that are close in our circle of friends that had 6 and 7 figures in FTX accounts that they will most likely not see again. And that's like their full trading balance. It wasn't even like they were diversified over 3 or 4 exchanges, like a lot of people are. So maybe I am being a little bit dramatic around this whole thing, but I reckon between 60 and 80% losses.
Yeah, I'd agree. Because what's happened now, it stopped being fun.
No, there's no ways this is fun. And even in these market conditions, if you're a good trader and you know what it is that you're doing, you are making absolute bank. So this is what this guy's collection looks like. Huh?
Yeah.
He's selling because he knows that collection could be worth close to zero soon.
The people who have made bank are the people who deposited on the hedge side of the Y2K vaults for USDT and MIM. They've made a fucking fortune.
You called that, didn't you? You actually made quite a compelling case for Y2K several weeks ago, and you said this thing is just perfect for what's going on right now, and it's just played out exactly the way you said it was going to play out.
Yeah, and guess who missed the deposit into the vault? Me. So yeah, this is you can just see out the gates. It's a fucking great collection. It
is, regardless of whether you're not a fan of either one of these. I mean, this is a seriously good collection.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And the fact that he's got all those NFTs as well, which is like the actual Tiffany jewelry of a punk. So in theory, in real life, he's got all these, like, if he's claimed them, all those like chains. It's so cool. And that punk at the top on the top left that was sold for 8,000 ETH, that's like the most expensive one in the world. Went in the Guinness Book of Records as well.
Which one?
Right at the top left, blue guy. Up, all the way.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
Didn't he
he's
just
the
buy it
zombie.
himself though?
think so.
80,000 ETH. Fuck me.
Yeah.
So-
I
No, this is a collection. Like, kudos to him. I'm sorry he's selling it. Really, I mean,
I know it's
it's
sad.
sad to see. No, it sucks. I'm sorry, but it sucks. I'm no Bored Ape fan, but a collection like that, wow. I mean, I did say that bear market will be over once Bored Apes go to zero. I'm kind of like feeling bad about that right now, to be honest.
Maybe you've got like a Bored Ape doll that you're sticking pins in at night, just to make sure it happens.
No, it never went quite that far, but the truth is that I was just bitter that I never got in. That's all it is, bro.
Do you think which top 20 projects come out of this the best?
In terms of what it is that they do, or in terms of who the teams are? I mean, it's quite a broad question. So
No,
I
yeah,
think the
fuck
project-
that. Let's look at price action. I'm done
we
with
looking-
teams and all that kind of shit right now.
Okay, fair enough. I think it's the projects that obviously fulfill the need of what the future holds for the space. That's what I think. I'm not even looking at price action. I'm looking at decentralized exchanges on fast ecosystems, cheap ecosystems, Y2K style products that protect people against this kind of stuff. So essentially, once again, coming back to TradFi principled projects that can be applied on the blockchain that solve problems, that don't make the space a scam, that make
Right,
it.
do you want to bring up like CoinGecko, and we'll do like a boom or bust for the top 20, because we've had like 47 minutes of like doom and gloom, and it's really starting to get me upset. I think we need a little bit of happiness, a little bit of fun to finish.
Right,
So I think,
Bitcoin boom or bust.
Definitely, it's definitely a boom. I think this just supports Bitcoin even more from a network perspective, from a DeFi perspective. Definitely pro Bitcoin.
Boom.
Same with
100%.
ETH. Same with ETH. Definitely boom. I think ETH has held
Tether
up pretty
boom or
well.
bust.
Tether's got its place. I think it's boom.
Tether to $2, 100%.
I fucking hope so. Right. How does
Next.
BNB come out of this?
Very good.
Boom.
I think from a central exchange, as far as I can see, I mean, we could, like, once again, we could be blindsided. I very much doubted CZ. CZ is playing, like you said, 65 level chess here, 65 dimensional chess as opposed to 4.
Let me just check something.
Ooh, this is disturbing. Our boom might be negated to we'll leave it on the jury.
So while we wait, anybody got any good airdrop threads to read?
Apparently, there's an airdrop thread on how to avoid being rugged.
Oh, really?
It's like that's 64,000 long. Matic
Look at that.
is just a beast.
Now we had a very good friend yesterday say to us, "Should I?" He was like, "Fuck it. Should I short the strongest chart in crypto right now?" We're like, "Yes."
Because it was at resistance to Bitcoin, but it looks like it's in the process of hasn't quite broken it, has it? But it's going to.
Two
close.
things
gonna have
I
its
think
all-time
are going
high
to do
close.
really well. I think Matic's going to continue to do well, and I think Chainlink's going to continue to do well towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I
Chainlink's
think
did
you're
so
right.
well through this.
Yeah.
If any of the CDP stablecoins manage to make it through all this shit, then fucking kudos. Like, that's seriously impressive. I think they all will.
Frax, I think Frax has passed that test already. I really do. I think Frax is one that's will do well. You know, if we go through that list, for me, Frax is one of the stables that will do well going forward. I think they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, because they've concentrated on liquidity. They've
Yep.
concentrated on making sure that their curve pools
And collateral, yeah.
are
100%.
deep,
Yeah.
deep, and not just, you know, at the whims of someone coming into the market and rinsing the pool. So smart.
I forgot to ask you guys earlier on, what are your thoughts, just before we get back onto this list, what are your thoughts around Tether blocking that Alameda wallet as they were trying to short USDT?
They're protecting their product. I think it's good. So
Yeah,
Alameda is the markets. If they continue to do what they were doing, they could have probably properly depegged it. And at the end of the day, if you're trying to attack something of mine and something that I own, you know, I'm going to do everything in my power to stop that. And I think that's what Tether did. It's good.
Grant?
I'd like to think that that's what's happened, but I also think there might have been kind of regulators breathing down Tether's neck, telling them to freeze the assets as well. So, but yeah, I bet they were ringing the regulators saying, "Can we freeze these?"
I mean, it is. I mean, I agree. I personally think it was a good thing, but I think what we need to consider is that it definitely does walk that very fine line, essentially a razor blade edge of, you know, like, is this really decentralized, or do we actually intervene? You know what I mean? It's like there definitely is an argument for that.
We know by now USDC and Tether and BUSD are not centralized.
Yeah,
they're just not. And that's the risk you take to have conviction in holding your assets at the dollar peg, regardless of what happens.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Okay, next on the list, USD, obviously, no-brainer.
BUSD, I think it'll flip
also,
USDC.
I think it's going to flip USDC, and I think it's going to be the king at the end of the day, based on what we are seeing at the moment and the gravitas that they have. They will be the number one stablecoin.
Any thoughts, Dan?
I completely agree. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if BNB and BUSD end up taking, well, the number 3 and the number 4 spot.
Yeah.
XRP, thoughts on XRP, Dan?
Send it 0 with haste.
With haste. Cardano, the same thing. Dogecoin, I don't care. I think either way, it doesn't matter. But it'll probably boom because we live in such a crazy world and we know that anything can happen. Polygon boom for me.
Yeah, I think Dogecoin will moon.
Yeah. Polygon?
Boom.
Boom. Grant?
Yeah, I think it'll do well. They'll just out business development everyone, even if they aren't pushing product, they can throw as many vanity marketing metrics in people's faces to make it look good. So happy to trade that.
Polkadot, this is an interesting one.
0.
Bus.
Really? 0. Solana.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom as well for me.
I think at the end of the day, Solana will do well. I think Solana will come back. I think the Solana actual token has just been at the unfortunate end of a right, just like spanking.
Totally. Yeah. Lido, I think, will do boom as well.
Yeah. Lido boom. Shiba boom.
Yeah. Dai boom.
Dai's done
Tron
really well.
Boom.
Tron?
Boom.
Can I say that I don't care?
Yeah. Impartial.
Okay,
I don't know yeah. I think it's...
Yeah.
Why not, eh? Why not?
Why not?
Didn't realize it was so far up. Avalanche. I think Avalanche are going in the right direction, you know. I think they've got everything with subnets. You can deploy subnet in under a minute. They're kind of cross subnet composability coming. You've got a great BD team. You've got the Rust SDK. I wouldn't count them out. Put it that way.
No, I wouldn't count them out. I like Avalanche. I think they've sorted a lot of their problems out. I think they've got a lot more to sort out. I think their inflationary aspect is a problem, but I'm pretty sure they'll sort it out at some point. I think it's definitely on their list. Litecoin, why it's not at zero, I have no idea.
Litecoin confused.
It's a meme, right? I mean, it's a meme.
Yeah.
And then
finally,
Uniswap, what do you think?
top 5 project for me.
You like Uniswap? Yeah, they are good. So is that a wrap for now?
That is it. Hopefully next week's a little bit more enjoyable and we have something to laugh about. But that was it's been a bit of a tough week, and I'm gonna spend the rest of the weekend drinking about 4,000 pints of beer, I think. So I'll probably be a little bit ropey on Monday as well.
I'm traveling at the moment. I'm actually in Greece. I'm visiting family. It's my father's 12-month memorial this weekend, so it's going to be a bit of a bummer, but we all have to walk this path at some point. So it's kind of like coming here, and then this week it's just actually been too much, to be honest, and just watching friends like really taking it on the chin and in the gut. It hasn't really been that great. But like I said on socials, we're not going anywhere. I think there's a lot that can come out of this thing that can be positive. For me, the positive is that we've got DeFi. If we didn't have DeFi right now, if I couldn't take my money out of central exchanges and put them on chain in as many locations as I wanted, I'd be really worried right now. But we've got that, and I think that's, for me, is ultimately the silver lining in this shit show that's going on right now. So I'll take that positive, and I hope you all well and a good weekend.
I'm going to go watch I'm a Celebrity get me out of it. I need a little bit of happiness in my life. I'll tell you what, I don't do well with doom and gloom. I get really sad. If I can see Matt Hancock having to put his hands in fucking things of snakes, eating testicles and eyeballs, mate, that is going to make me happy. I'm going to sit on the sofa with me old dear, have a cup of tea and a rich tea, and enjoy my weekend. No doom and fucking gloom. Right. You buggers have
you
a great
enjoy
weekend.
yourself.
Jedi, send my love to your family and subscribe to the goddamn newsletter because we're moonshooting it. This week, as in today, there's going to be a plebs guide to surviving a contagion event like we're doing, okay?
Great.
Thank you,
Great
Dan.
topic.
We love you, brother. And yeah, please sub and give the like to this video. Take it easy, guys. Please stay safe.
All right.